One. All right, everybody, welcome again to another We Grow Together, No Agent Left Behind mastermind. And I have a special guest for you agents today. You know that everything we do to bring you guys value is to help you be successful in your business. And I've got a gentleman here. His name is Jonathan Silva. He's a broker, and he's going to talk to you about something that's very, very important about building your business plan. Every agent should have a business plan. And without further ado, I'll introduce Jonathan here. Jonathan, say hi and take it away and show these agents what you got and what type of value you're going to deliver to them today.
Oh, wait, you don't have the studio effects where we get like all the clapping and the cheering?
Oh, woo! No, yeah. Here we go. Yeah, okay, Jonathan, awesome. I should definitely.
Just because it's virtual doesn't mean I don't like the on-stage experience, okay?
I'll remember that next time, Jonathan. Thank you so much.
No, I appreciate it, and I'm glad to be here and happy to go over this with everybody. So like Matt said, I am one of the managing brokers here in Texas for our company. And so, you know, part of my job is making sure that the real estate agents have what they need and the support that they need to grow their business and to actually build their business. On top of that, I'm one of the lead educators for the new agent series in our brokerage, helping new agents that are just getting their license or just getting back into real estate, or maybe they've been in it for a while, but they're kind of going through a funk and they need a revamp of, you know, what do I need to do? I lead a training program for that as well. So I'm really invested, let's say, for the future growth of real estate agents. So I'm happy to be here. And on this topic here, I think it's important, and I'm just going to preface, they're doing construction in our building. I don't know what they're doing. Nobody tells us anything. So if you hear some banging, I apologize. But we're going to be talking about building your business plan because, believe it or not, in real estate, you're not a hobbyist. You are a business owner. You're building your business. You're building your brand. And in order to build that successful business, you have to be able to have a plan in place that you're going to follow through with year in and year out. So it's the start of 2022. We're already into February now. So 1 month's already down. You should have your business plan started and finished. If not, that's okay. You can still work on that, right? You've still got some time to structure it and to really take advantage of this new year. So, but going into the next one, you'll be better prepared. All right. So in the business plan, you're going to have several different sections that you're going to want to really focus on. Okay, these sections are designed to outline your process and your business model. It's a roadmap to your success. All right. So the first section of your business plan is pretty internally focused, right? It's asking you the questions of what do you need and how do you operate as an individual, as a real estate professional, and as a business owner. Now, a real estate business plan is going to be a little bit different than a traditional business plan because there's going to be some focused attributes of real estate, you know, hyper local. It's not going to be in general, what am I doing for business? So as we get to that, you'll start to notice those things. So the first thing in your business plan is going to be your commitment. Okay. What is your commitment in your business that you are going to promise yourself to do? And so on here, I kind of share what we've put into our business plan and what we kind of follow, where it says, I am committed to growing our team by providing high-level leadership support, mentorship, business attraction, and marketing support. Because I run a small team here in San Antonio, that's one of my focuses, is I want to be able to build my business, and my business as a team leader are the agents that we support within that organization. So I outlined that my commitment is to our agents, okay? For you, your commitment may be to your clients or to your community. Now, the next section is honest accountability, okay? Really, it's accountability. It's not, you know, when you're looking at these slides, whatever's blue is the title of your section, all right? So honest accountability means be honest with yourself on holding yourself accountable. So for our accountability, we've got lead generation is key for my team's continued success for the current agents on the team and prospective agents looking to join. My hour of power needs to consist of 1 hour of video marketing prep, edit, and distribution. So we know that video is key. We know that video is powerful. Therefore, we want to hold ourselves accountable to say, you know what? We need to be getting that content out there, and we need to be focused on making sure that that content's available not only for ourselves, not only for our clients and the community, but also for our agents. So that way they can do what we call R&D, which is, you know, research and develop, but basically see and copy. Okay. So when you see something, take it, run with it. That's why it's out there. So we want to put the content out there so that way our agents can focus on that. Know your why. Okay, so the next section is your why. Why are you doing this? Why are you in real estate? Why did you decide to leave your last job and get into real estate? Or graduate from college with a degree in engineering and then go and sell houses, right? You've got to know why you're here. And your why shouldn't be as simple as, oh, I want to make a lot of money and there's no restrictions in real estate, right? As hard as I work is how much money I make. Yes, that's true, but that's not a real why of why you're doing it. Dig deep in your own kind of psyche, if you will, or your history, and determine what is it that's pushing you to be successful in real estate. And so for mine, on my my business plan, it's coming from a place of lower to middle class. I don't want my kids to experience that. Their future lifestyle and opportunities available motivate me to push forward every day. Additionally, my brother relocated from Los Angeles and decided to partner with me under a combined interest in growth, financial stability, and fast-paced retirement planning. Failing to accomplish our goals doesn't only affect my plans and financial stability, but it also affects his as well. So that holds me not only accountable, but as an understanding of why do I work so freaking hard? Why am I up at 11:30 at night typing out some policies and procedures manual, right? Because I know that our future depends on the work that I'm putting into it. And if y'all have any questions, for those that are listening in, feel free to chime in and just cut me off. And if you're watching this on, our channel or on a recap, post your comments.
Yeah, Jonathan, I have to tell you, I love that you on the why, and I love how you said dig deep on the why, because the stronger your why, the bigger it's going to be, right? Like the stronger your why is, the more motivation that you're going to go out there and the more houses you're going to sell and the more people you're going to help. So your why has to be big. And so dig deep in that and find out your why. There's a good book out there that talks about your why, which is the $1 Million Real Estate Agent, right? From Gary Keller. So if you're in real estate and you haven't, read that book, you should definitely read that book. But I love that, the why, man. So awesome stuff, brother.
Good. Yeah. And that's important. You've got to look deep into yourself and into your reasons of actually doing anything. It's not just real estate. So next up is to have a clear vision. Okay. It's easy to look at what's right in front of you. It's easy to see, what can you reach with your hand right now? But what's really difficult is looking down the road. Okay. What's happening in the future? And when you're running a business, you can't just focus on what's going to happen tomorrow or what's going to happen next month. You've got to be looking at what's going to happen this year, what's going to happen in 5 years, what's going to happen in 10 years. Because most people don't get into business to be out in a year, right? Most people get into business to build that brand and to have that future stability. So for mine, Civil Property Group will be a recognized company on professionalism and cooperation across San Antonio, Austin, and Dallas markets. The company will be comprised of 20 plus full-time agents across 3 major markets with an annual GCI income of 1.5 million and a net commissioned income of 750,000 in real estate sales. The professional support staff will consist of 2 transaction coordinators and an executive assistant. So when I wrote our business plan that we're, pulling the quotes from on here, that's where we were at, right? But the good thing about real estate, or the good thing about business plans, is they're not ironclad, right? They're not concrete. You're not registering them with the county clerk's office. You're not, solidifying this to God or whoever you believe in. It's a plan for you. It's a roadmap for you. And guess what? If you're crushing it in your job and you're just killing it, you're like, my growth is way beyond where I thought it was going to be. My business plan can change, right? You can reassess that expectation of yourself and say, shit, I expected way too little of myself. 20 agents in 3 major markets? Nah, bull crap. I'm going 50 agents. I'm going 100 agents in 3 major markets, right? Our GCI isn't 1.5 million. Our GCI is 10 million, okay? You can change the values or the content in your business plan as you grow into your business. All right. So we've got a couple more here on kind of like the highlights of a business plan of your sections. And then we're going to start diving into your real estate focused within the business plan, because it is going to be different than if you were creating a business plan to, you know, operate a car wash or run a daycare. I don't know. It's a little bit different. So what's your mission, right? What's your goal? What are you doing here? So our mission is to couple high quality marketing content with top tier customer service that allows our clients to exceed their real estate goals. Because we're in a relationship based business, because we help individuals buy and sell real estate, we focus on making sure that our clients, our consumers that, you know, engage with us in our communities are provided the value and the education and the information to make the best decisions. Does that mean that they're always going to use us for their real estate needs? Absolutely not. But you know what? We have a ton of people here in San Antonio. And honestly, I don't want to work with all of them, right? Like it would drive me crazy to try to work with that many people. We're not the right real estate agents for everybody. You're not going to be the right real estate agents for everybody. But I sleep better at night knowing that the information that I'm putting out, the education that I'm sharing is helping those that are finding it and that need that information at that time. And that's all I can focus on in my life. And I love that it's like trickling in some of the wording on here, because I don't remember actually setting that up when I created this slide deck. And so it's cool. I like it. I'll take it. Thanks, Canva. All right. So identifying your values. Okay. For me, when I was looking at my business plan, I was like, you know what? It's Silva Property Group. My last name's Silva. My brother's last name is Silva. That's how we came up with the name. We're super creative, I know. So I wanted to create our values kind of aligned with our name, right? SILVA. What are our values surrounded by that? So I came up with support, inspire, leadership, value, and abundance mindset. And I'll break those down a little bit for you guys here, that like you can see. We want to support our agents, clients, and the communities that we serve. Right? Our focus isn't strictly on the transactions that we close or the, you know, commissions that we bring home. Our focus is on our communities, on our agents, and on our clients, and helping individuals as much as we can. We believe in giving back and providing that support when it's needed to those that are in need. Next is inspire. We want to be able to inspire the agents in our network to think outside of the box, which is one of the reasons why I connect with Matt and David and Jace on the call to put this kind of content together for agents to help them really, you know, develop themselves and grow into the business. Because I want to inspire people to think outside of that box, right? You don't need to just focus on one aspect of real estate. You don't need to focus on one type of client in real estate. You don't need to focus just solely on real estate. There's auxiliary services that you can use as well, right? Inspire people to thinking outside that box, breaks that mold of the traditional style of real estate, and opens up that mindset to say, whoa, there's more opportunities out there. I don't need to be stuck at a brick and mortar, or I don't need to be stuck on a computer. I don't need to be stuck in an office. That's what I enjoy. Next is leadership, because our agents and clients deserve nothing but the best, right? And that's every day in life. We don't want to be mediocre. We don't want to be subpar. We want to be the leaders in our industry. And that's what we focus on. Value, we educate our agents and clients to be knowledgeable, to work on their own, provide them the value that makes them want to work with us. That's my whole concept on my team and with my clients. I tell every team member that talks to me and joins our company that I want to train you in a way where you could wake up in the morning and say, I don't need to be on a team. But I want to provide you with enough value to where you wake up each morning and say, but I want to be on this team. For our clients, I want them to be able to wake up in the morning and say, you know what, I want to work with this agent because they are the right agent. I educate, I coach our clients every step of the way. I let them know the entire process. Because guess what, that first time home buyer, if they ever wanted to go out and buy another home, 100% they could go out and do it completely on their own. 100%. But you know what? Provide the value to show them why it's worth having a real estate agent represent them. And they're going to come out, you know, come back to you 10 times over. They're going to send their friends and family to you 10 times over because the value is there. Last but not least is abundance mindset, which I think, you know, completely closes the entire value board here. I believe that there is plenty out there, right? I believe that there's plenty of opportunities. I believe that there's plenty content. I believe that there's plenty client. I think there is enough for everybody to go out there and work. Matt's in Austin. My brother sells in Austin. I don't see Matt as competition, right? Not because we're so much better than Matt, but because there's plenty out there. The people that Matt know, I probably don't know. The people that Matt connects with, I probably don't connect with. I don't know if y'all are seeing this huge glare on my face, but it's really bothering me. It makes me look like Casper.
No, you're okay. And I want
that's
to
too
jump.
dark.
I want to jump in on the abundance thing. And if you're watching this, maybe this is your first time to see some of the value that we bring to you. Maybe you're watching it on our YouTube channel, but that's us guys that got together, us agents that got together, Jonathan, Jason, and a few other agents. We felt on that inspire part is to be able to give back to the real estate community of agents, no matter what brokerage you're with, because listen, there are no secrets. We want to be able to give you everything so you can be successful, because just like Jonathan said, like his brother works Austin. I've never ran into his brother or looked at his brother as a competition one bit, because there's abundance of business. So how about we just all make each other better and no agents left behind? So I really love that that's in your business plan training here. Thanks so much for sharing that, Jonathan.
Of course. All right. I don't know. I hate the lighting in this office. Guys, our office is terrible. Okay. We're probably going to be moving. Just going to throw that out there into the universe.
Well, the banging on the wall is lovely, but you could barely hear it, maybe they can take a lunch break.
Right? They don't take lunch breaks here. They get their stuff done. All right. So now we kind of start diving past the traditional business model. Okay. We're going to get into budgeting. We're going to get into, managing your finances and things like that. But we also need to make sure that we're focusing on real estate activities, right? Because that ultimately determines our business. Are we successful? Are we not successful? And how are we maintaining our production if we don't know what the heck we're going for, right? If I walk into the room or into the new year and I say, I'm going to sell real estate. Well, awesome, dummy. That's what you've done for the past 8 years, right? Like, duh, of course you're going to sell real estate, but how much real estate am I going to be selling? And then you break it down to how are you going to get those transactions? How are you going to help those clients? So for here, plan your transactions. What are you going to do year over year? And we look at our business plan about year over year. Okay. So we created this one back towards the end of 2020, around October, November timeframe. And already, we just got through January, and already I'm looking at some of the stuff that's in there for 2022. And I'm like, that could probably change. That could probably increase, right? Or I could look at that a little bit differently. And again, it's fine because your business plan is fluid. Now, ideally, your business plan is fluid up, right? Don't put on here that you're going to do 50 transactions and then you look at it in January and say, I'm only going to do 32 instead. No, focus on those big numbers. So for us, on our planning of our transactions, we look at who are our lead sources. So we're going to take last year versus this year. Okay. And if you're a brand new agent, sorry, you're not going to have transactions from last year. But for agents that do have transactions from last year, go back to last year. Look at every lead source that you had in 2021 and annotate it. How many deals did you get from that lead source? If you marketed it on any of the big sites like Zillow or Realtor.com, annotate where those leads came from. Maybe your sphere of influence gave it to you, Facebook, Divvy, right? Wherever, annotate all of your numbers. How many buyers did you get from that transaction? How many sellers did you get from that transaction? How much GCI or gross commission income did you get from that transaction? What was the sales volume of those transactions, right? We're talking micro accountability of what those transactions actually produced into your business. So that way, when you compare that into 2022, you're able to say, you know what? I closed 15 transactions from my sphere of influence, and I closed 5 transactions from online marketing. If I'm selling 3 times the amount of business by connecting with my sphere of influence, where do you think I'm going to put the most of my marketing dollars into going into 2022? Probably my sphere of influence, right? Because that's giving me 3 times the amount of business. I'm not going to neglect the online marketing because it's bringing me business. But when I'm looking at my budget and I'm adding, value to certain areas, online marketing is probably not going to get a huge bump in budget. But my sphere of influence is probably going to get a pretty big chunk of, additional funds put into there. So next is your percentages. Understand how you're doing business. Where's your money coming from? I sold 10 million in real estate and I made $100,000. What was your average commission on that? Right? When you break it down, you're able to see what's your average sales price, what's your average commission, what's your average net, right? For most brokerages, you've got your commission that you earn on the transaction, that's your gross. And then you've got your fees or your splits that get broken down into it. That's not your net, right? When you make that 3% on a deal or whatever percentage you make on a deal, that's not your net, that's your gross. Figure out what your net was, divide your net by your gross commission, your gross revenue sales, and congratulations, you know how much your average commission rate is. Look at those numbers and then tell yourself, am I okay with this? Am I good with collecting 1.8%? Or do I want to collect 2.3? And if the answer is increasing it to 2.3, well, how do we make that happen? Cut expenses, cut splits, whatever the case may be, make it happen. You can't look at those numbers if you're not tracking your transactions at that level, right? So on here, we put it in simple columns. Lead sources, and we annotate every single lead source that we work with. 2021 or prior year, depending on when you're watching this, and we put down how many transactions within that lead source did we close. And then we go 2022 or the new transaction, and we put it in that column next to the lead source. So we know how many transactions are we projecting to close this year, current year. We look at volume. How much volume did we close last year? How much volume are we hoping to close this year? General rule of thumb, you should probably be increasing your volume year over year. Between appreciation and market values going up, market conditions changing, and your experience and skills in the industry, you're likely going to be selling higher price point houses as opposed to lower price point houses. So if you sold 10 million last year, you're probably going to be looking at about 15 million this year. Just as a general rule of thumb, that doesn't say you exclusively. Any questions on tracking those transactions? Okay. So from there, we dive a little bit deeper. I'm a very analytical person. Before I got into real estate, I was like an accounts auditor, basically, in the military. I did some investigation stuff. I watched for like financial fraud and things like that. So I'm very analytical, right? I'm very nitpicky when it comes to numbers, and I like to see all of the data that I can. It gives most people headaches and makes them go sideways, but I like to see that stuff. So on that, I'm also tracking the seasons, right? So you've got 4 quarters in the year. Those are your seasons: January, February, March, April, May, June, et cetera, et cetera. When you're looking at your business plan and you're really breaking it down into a hyper-focused business model, right? And a plan of action of how you're going to tackle the next year, understand that there are fluctuations in the real estate market. Anybody that's been in the real estate market longer than a year can probably attest that during the winter months, no matter where you are in the country, it tends to slow down a little bit. As you get into spring, and especially in summer, those are really your peak seasons. That's when it's really going to start to go crazy. All the buyers are out, all the sellers are out. People are trying to move before the school year. By the end of the school year, before the school year starts, that's your peak. Spring and summer, winter and fall, it kind of droops. Now it doesn't drop, right? We don't see a big crazy decrease in most, well, the markets here in Texas don't. When I was selling real estate in Nebraska, it was like spring and summer, winter, spring and summer, winter. It's like a heartbeat. But depending on your market, that may not be the case. So understand, as the market fluctuates, you're probably not going to sell as many houses in January as you will in July. So if your transaction count is 50 houses in a year, you probably don't want to split them all evenly between every month, because chances are you're going to sell less in one month than you will in another month. So looking at your numbers, you can understand I do my best work between April and July. I will probably sell 40% of my business between April and July. I'm going to annotate that on my business plan. That's the number of transactions I should close April, May, June, and July. The rest of those months will probably be less transactions. That's tracking your seasons. Okay. That's understanding the volatility in the market, the fluctuations to say, you know what, if I only close 3 transactions in January, but I have a goal of selling 50, that's perfectly fine because I know I'm going to sell more in June and that's going to make up for the transactions I don't close in January. Does that make sense? Okay. As we're diving deeper into the numbers, I'll be asking if that makes sense more because sometimes it does get daunting or confusing. All right, so annual activity goals for here, and I meant to bring up my business plan so I can kind of be looking at it as a cheat sheet. But basically, what are your goals for activity, right? It's not transaction based. We're not talking about, I want to close 50 transactions. That's easy, right? We're asking, what activities are you going to perform in the new year? Because ultimately in real estate, those activities what's the word I'm looking for? Those activities transfer to being contracts. Okay. If you don't make phone calls, you don't make contracts. If you're not making video, you're not having contracts, right? So what activities are you focusing on to get those contracts in?
Those Jonathan have to be a daily, sometimes hourly activities, you know, and you're numbers guys. So I wonder, do you break those things down? Like I call them money making activities.
Right. So a lot of people use like the term hour of power or, you know, something along those lines that basically, what are you going to focus on during the day? How long are you going to focus on that activity during the day? And what are the results that you're seeking? Right. We use a program called CSU. It's an accountability tracker and it tracks everything that we want it to account for. And so we can see how many phone calls are you making? Based off of that number, how many appointments are you setting? When you see how many phone calls it takes to make that appointment, you can start to adjust your numbers to say, you know what, I'm making 100 phone calls and I'm making 5 appointments. That means I have a 20% conversion rate from phone call to appointment, right? And so, I think that's right, math. No, I don't know. I can't do it on the whim. But anyways, you've got a 5% conversion rate would be 5 appointments. So when you're looking at that, you can say, okay, well, if I want to make more appointments, I need to make more phone calls. And so from there you go, phone calls lead to appointments, appointments lead to contracts, contracts lead to close. If I've got 100 calls made and I closed 1 transaction, that means I have a 1% conversion rate, right? So if I want to close 50 transactions, that means I need to make 5,000 phone calls, right? Track those numbers to where you're able to really focus on the activities that you're doing day in and day out to say, you know what, I'm on track with where I need to be. I'm going to hit this goal. Outstanding. And you know what? Plot twist. Sometimes your conversion rates are better than others. Some days you're on it and you're just like, boom, 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 convert, convert, convert. And then other days, David tells me to shut up and I just break down for the rest of the day, right? I mean, that's most of the days, but that's basically where we're at. So you want to be able to track those activities. If you're looking at video, right? Video's got a whole nother different aspect of it from phone calls. On video, you've got 2 types of video, immediate response and long-term gain, right? So if you're looking at the immediate response, those are videos like those short form videos like Instagram Reels or Facebook Reels and TikTok videos and those short little 1-minute clips that don't really last very long, right? People see it, they're haha, and then they forget about you. And then you've got YouTube style videos, which might be a little bit longer. Now they've got some short form as well, but those are more long-term. If somebody's looking at our stuff in a year, they're going to find it. My brother, I think in the past month has gotten 3.
Did we lose you?
I think it's construction guiding.
Yeah. All right. Well, it looks
Hey,
like we
remember the
lost
host, so it's
Jonathan.
stop record.
Here we are.
No, here we go.
Like,
I'm back in it, guys. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay. A little technical difficulty.
I mentioned how the office was terrible, right?
Yeah, it's all good. So
All right, I don't even know where I cut off.
you were saying that your brother recently on video. I think you were talking about video. What happened with your brother recently?
Yeah, so we were talking about YouTube and YouTube kind of being a long game strategy where he recorded a video in 2020 about the best places in San Antonio to invest in real estate. I think last month or, between December and January, I think he got 3 leads from that one video of investors that want to invest in San Antonio. And it's like, we put that video out there to try to generate business, generate leads, but it took 2 years for people to really start recognizing that video. So you've got to look at those differences between the short-term gain of like TikTok or Reels versus the long-term strategy of YouTube. Does that make sense?
Makes 100%, man, sense.
Outstanding. I'm going for 110. So hopefully by the end of the call, we're good.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So next things up is setting your operations initiatives, right? What are you need? Ooh, jumping ahead of myself here. What are you needing in your business in order to reach those goals that you've set? So one of the goals for us from going from 2021 into 2022 is hiring assistants. We know that we are bogged down with back office activities and that it's wasting our time, right? Not to discredit the support and the usefulness of assistants, but seriously, we are skilled in conversation and we are skilled in negotiation and showing houses and listing houses. We are literally paid to close real estate. So by taking the time to sit in the office and process paperwork or turn in contracts or, prospect, if you will, right? Cold call. That's not what makes us money. What makes us money is being out in the field, talking with clients, showing houses and writing contracts. So for us, we realize that and we see it and we say, you know what? We can be more profitable in our business by hiring the support staff that's needed for not only us, but also for our team. So going into the new year, we looked at our plan and we said, you know what? We need to hire 2 assistants this year. We need to hire 1 assistant by the end of Q1, and we need to hire a second assistant by the end of Q4. Our first assistant is going to be our day-to-day operations stuff, paperwork, transaction management, client coordination, some ISA duties, like just to get that process started. But our second assistant that we're going to be hiring is going to be a full-on ISA. Their sole job is going to be lead generation for the team. So that's what we put into our contracts as one of our operative initiatives, right? Because we know that needs to happen. And so look at your business and see where you're struggling or see what's setting you back. Look at your dollars per hour, right? As a new agent, it's easy to say, assistants cost way too much money. I've done it for years. Assistants cost way too much money, right? We're talking $30,000, $40,000 a year, no crazy. But if you're spending half of your day with paperwork and you could be spending half of that day showing houses and writing twice as many contracts, that $30,000, $40,000 is going to come up like that, right? You're going to make that back and then some to where you're actually growing your business. That's part of looking into that business plan and making those tough calls. I'm still trying to make that tough call. I talk to my brother almost every day and I'm like, dude, I don't know, man, that's a lot of money. Like, I can just do the office work, man. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Like, we'll just get it done. But he tells me, he's like, dude, no, you need to be out talking to people. I'm like, I know, but that's $40,000. And so it's a tough pill to swallow, but it's one of those things that we realize is a need and we put it on. So we've talked about our mindset, right? What are we committed to? What's our vision? What's our why? What's our goals? We've talked about our transaction history versus our transaction goals for the new year. Where are we getting business? How are we getting that business? But another thing that plays a huge role in that is your marketing plan and understanding what activities are you doing that's actually generating leads that you can convert into clients. And a big part of that is your marketing plan. And so you've got to outline your marketing plan ahead of time so that way it actually gets executed. One thing we run into, and I think every real estate agent that listens to this and that's been in the industry runs into, is we get all these ideas in our head. We think about all these things that we want to do, and it's amazing. It's the best thing ever. Nobody else is doing it, but neither are we, right? We think about it. We want to do it. We get this great idea. Maybe we jot it down on a notepad by our bed, but then we never actually execute it. And a lot of times it's because we don't actually have a plan of execution for that. Matt, what's up?
Yeah, I was just going to say, there's probably millions of people in this world that have had an amazing idea, a life-changing idea, but they never took action on it, right? And I was listening to this motivational podcast, and it was like, one of the things that people need to understand is you don't want to have any regrets. And at the end of the day, when at the end of your life, when you're sitting, on your deathbed, what you don't want to have is the ghost of regrets that say, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have done that. And Jonathan, you're so right. Everybody talks about having a business plan, but like actually putting it down on paper and actually, executing it every single day. And you're right. We can say, hey, this is what I want to do. But if it's not on paper and it's not set in stone, then nobody takes action on it, and it never gets done. Right. So I love that, man. I love that. Good stuff.
Good. I'm glad you're loving it, man. I know Jason's bored out of his mind. That's why he won't turn his camera on. But, when you're looking at that, really outline what you want to do and how you want to do it. Okay. What videos do you want to make? What kind of content do you want to put out there? Are you on the camera? Is somebody else on the camera? Right? Maybe nothing's on the camera. Maybe you're just touring a house and you just want to focus on home tours where it's not actually focusing on you or an agent or an actor, right? It's just simply the house. That's fine. Because the content is what you need to be putting out. It's not necessarily focused on who's in that content. Obviously, as real estate professionals and as community leaders, if you will, in the real estate industry, they should probably know who you are. They should probably know what to look for, so that way they can actually see you. But home tours sell a lot of real estate. All right, know your USP. Do any of y'all know what a USP is?
Yes, it stands for unique selling proposition.
God, I was like, I'm not going to put the full thing because I'm going to test these guys and see who actually knows it. Yes, it is your unique selling proposition. Okay. Matt and I took the same real estate courses. Everybody that gets their real estate license takes the same real estate courses, right? The difference between Matt and I is I went and took my broker's courses. But the broker's courses don't really teach you how to sell real estate. The broker's courses teach you how to manage real estate agents and real estate offices and trust accounts and being that, leader role in the industry as opposed to the sell side. So when we're looking and comparing apples to apples, Matt's got, the same exact coursework that's required by the Texas Real Estate Commission in order to sell real estate. So what am I going to do that's different than Matt in order to stand out, right? If Matt makes, dinner every night at the local shelter and I go and make dinner every night at the local shelter, we're still not doing anything different. But if I'm posting that content, or if I'm giving back to the community with, fundraisers or credits from our closings and our commissions, and we're crediting it back into an organization or to the community, that's a unique selling proposition to pitch to people, to tell them, look, when you buy a house with Silver Property Group, we're giving X% to your local charity, blah, blah, blah. That's a unique selling proposition, right? We make listing videos at every single listing, and here's our listing videos, and here's the quality of content that we put out, and here's the returns that we get on it. And Matt's like, yeah, I take pictures with my Nokia. What's up, right? That's the unique selling proposition that you would focus on. So think about to yourself and say, what's different about me that other real estate agents in my community aren't doing? I've got a military background. I connected very closely with the military community. I focus on VA. I'm a military relocation professional, right? Like that's my niche that I really enjoy working is the VA, style buyer because I know it. I love it. I get it. That's my unique proposition, or it was until I moved back to San Antonio and everybody and their mother's an MRP and it's just military city USA, right? So then you got to come up with a new value proposition or a unique sales proposition. So think about that. And it's got to relate to you. A lot of people in this industry say, fake it till you make it. But the one thing you can't fake is being yourself. So next up, complete your SWOT analysis. David, what's a SWOT analysis? I know Matt knows. Calling David out. Oh, you're muted. I bet you had the right answer though. Oh, you're still muted.
I probably do, but I haven't never heard this before, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. So the SWOT analysis is basically identifying your own strengths, weaknesses, the opportunities that you have, and the things that are threatening to you. Okay. So you've got to look at it again. You're diving deep into yourself. This is all part of a business plan because ultimately you are the CEO of your own business, right? You remember that class? Yeah, I teach that one too in our academy. You've got to look at it. What are your strengths, right? I am very good with connecting with people on an emotional level because I really genuinely care about what people are thinking and how people feel. Not necessarily what people think of me, but just what they're thinking about a situation or how they're feeling about the house or the situation. So I know that that's my strength. One of my strengths is engaging and connecting with people. Believe it or not, I'm pretty much an introvert. I hate being in front of people. I hate being in large groups. Whenever we go to these events, and Jace will probably attest from when he was down here in San Antonio a couple months back, it's like I meet everybody, I say hey, and then I find the emptiest space in the room to just kind of like hang out, recoup, regather myself, and then I'll go back out and make some FaceTime. It sucks, I know it, but that's one of my weaknesses, is I'm a somewhat of an introvert in a real estate industry that kind of prides itself on being an extrovert. You've got to be able to go up and talk to people. You have to be able to go up and introduce yourself to some random person, hand them a business card and hope that they buy real estate from you. And that's not me. So I force myself to get out of that and say, you know what, I can't just sit in the corner all night. I got to go and talk to people. So then I go up and actually talk to people, which then leads me to being able to do some of these Zoom calls. But they're Zoom, they're not in person. Don't ask me to get on stage. I picture everybody naked. It's weird. And I get in trouble. Next up is opportunity, right? What is your opportunity by being in this business, by running your own business? In a normal 9 to 5, you are limited to your salary. I'm going to pay you $60,000 a year. You're going to come into the office from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock. You're going to run these reports, and you're going to get 2 weeks of vacation a year. That's your cap. In real estate, there is no cap, right? The only cap is $12,000 to your broker. Just kidding. I don't know where you're at. But, right? You could make literally as much money as you want in real estate. And all it boils down to is how hard are you working in real estate? If you want to sleep all day and not work, guess what? Your 1099 is going to be simple to file, right? Go to TurboTax, simple file, it's free, right? Just start plugging in all these things for the SEO. I don't know how it works. I'm not an SEO person. But if you hustle and you make money, you've got endless opportunity, right? You can go from making twice as much from your salary position that you had that you left to get into real estate, buy investment properties, earn that extra revenue, look at other opportunities that you can invest in or build your business into, open new businesses, grow a team, grow a brokerage, endless opportunity. The next one on there is your threats. What's really your threat? New to the market, I don't have experience. I'm uneducated in the real estate sales world. I took my basic real estate courses, but I've never sold a house. Are those really threats, or can those be looked at as opportunities to learn and to grow your business? To me, my biggest threat is the government, right? My biggest threat is property rights in my local community. interest rates across the market, taxes that I'm going to be charged on my revenue and on my income, right? Those are my threats. The agents down the street aren't my threat because, again, I'm going to be marketing to my kind of people, my ideal clients. I'm going to be working with clients that want to work with me, and I'm not going to worry about what Joe Schmo down the street's doing, right? Focus on what your threats are and what's going to drive you in the business. So you got strengths. What are you good at? Weaknesses. What do you suffer from, or what are you kind of slow at? Okay, I'm slow at math, but I'm an accountant. It works. Opportunities, and what are your threats? All right. Calculate your financial plan. I believe this might be the last one here. It's simple. As a business, you've got a budget. If you're just getting started in real estate and you are a new agent, I want you to do something. I want you to figure out how much money you can allocate into your business. Okay. How much money could you pull out of your checking account right now and just put it into another account? And I would urge you and highly encourage you to do that. And then tell yourself, I've got $5,000 that I'm going to take from my personal account and put into my business account. That is your investment into your business. That's exactly what I did when I started real estate. I said, I've got $5,000. This is my real estate fund. I'm going to build my business on $5,000. I put it into a separate account, labeled it my business account, and I never put another penny into my business account. Not once, ever have I ever done it. I told myself, I've got $5,000. I'm going to take that $5,000 and I'm going to build my business on it. If I need more money, I have failed. If I cannot support my business, I have failed. I set myself up on a payroll. If I was getting a closing, I was paying myself X%. That $5,000 covered my entry cost of closing of my classes, my background check, and my application fees, marketing to get started, and my gas getting, to and from the showings and stuff that I needed to get to. I calculated in, I don't have a lot of money to spend on marketing. I can't pay $1,000 a month for some third-party company to advertise me and 3 other agents. I can't do it. So I'm going to hit every free opportunity I can: door knocking, cold calling, open houses, new construction, partnering with other agents to help them do grunt work, right? I focused on all the free stuff to get those closings. And then I was able to start building that business. When I moved from Nebraska to San Antonio, I didn't put personal money to grow my business. I took money from my business in Nebraska and put it into my San Antonio business, right? So I set that expectation up. So when you're creating your financial plan in your business plan, you need to be looking at how much money do I actually have available to invest in my business. This should not be a money in, money out type of business, okay? In real estate, when we're talking about trust accounts, we have a term called commingling. That's commingling other people's money with your business money. It's illegal. You will get in trouble. Do not do it. Think of your business and your money as 2 different entities, and you do not want to commingle those money, because then it gets very confusing on how much money did your business actually make in expense versus how much money did you actually expense. And the IRS does not like that. So once you know how much money you can invest, figure out how much money you're going to allocate to marketing. You are not taking a paycheck until you close a property, right? That's rule number 1.
So
You're not taking a paycheck.
Jonathan, I got a question on that. Number 1, I never even thought about that, because it's funny, when I got into real estate, I started with I was leaving a company I'd been with for 12 years, and I was pretty much set at this company, so it was a big jump to jump right into real estate. And I saved up $10,000, and I took that $10,000. But what I didn't do was what you did, which was probably smart. I didn't take into the factor. I said, hey, this is my $10,000 to get started, but I didn't take out of that $10,000, my bills and all the other stuff. And I ran out of that $10,000 really, really quick. And then I was out there struggling, trying to get the next deal to refund that account and all this type of stuff. And I learned the hard way. So to any new agents that are on here, I love that idea that he just talked about. Find out what that amount is, put it in a separate business account, And what I loved about what you said was, if you don't make it happen with that amount of money, then you failed, and it's okay. But I guarantee you what's going to happen is if you put that amount of money in that account that you said, hey, this is just for real estate, it's going to motivate you more to make sure that you don't fail. Right. And so the question I have, I just wanted to touch on that, but the question I had, Jonathan, was when you had your first closing, like for instance, let's say there's a new agent on here and they haven't had their first closing and maybe they didn't set it up like that. When you had your first closing, how much money out of that closing, how much percentage did you put back into that fund?
So when I closed my first deal, I had about $185 left in that account.
Right.
I was done, right? Like I was like, oh my God, I can't drive anywhere, man. If you want to see a house, it's got to be right next to the office. I got to run there.
Okay.
Like I'm eating ramen. No, it was all right, because by that point, by the time I had that closing set, I had 2 closings on the books, but 2 weeks apart.
Gotcha.
So,
So you were building that pipeline, right?
I'm going.
Okay.
It's happening.
Yeah.
I can fund this account again. So in real estate, I have always operated on 25% is my money, because what I'm building is not a job. I'm building an empire. My real estate brand is not stopping at real estate sales. We will expand into investment properties. We will expand to long-term, short-term commercial. So for me, I said, you know what? I'm going to make enough money in my real estate career to where I can take 25% of my net commission, and that's my payroll. Every single check that I've gotten, I've only collected 25%. Okay. And so because I'm a numbers guy, I know the IRS likes to tax us and, make us pay a lot of money on taxes. And we're not taxed at the company. We have to manage our own taxes, being 1099. So I take 25%, I pay it to myself. I take 30% and I put it into a savings account to cover my tax liability. The remaining 45% is my company dollar. That is in there to build my company. Whether it's increase systems, increase lead gen, that sort of thing. I take that money and I put it back into my business to deal that. Now, the benefit of being a 1099 is we get to take a lot of deductions, right? So I take 30% and I put it into savings. The probability is my income, my net operating income is not going to be high enough to where that 30% of every commission is actually going to be my tax liability, which means I'm going to have a bonus at the end of the year. And I typically would pay myself a bonus at the end of the year to make up for the extra that I've saved.
I love it. So guys, if you're listening to this, this is, every time we do a training, I get a golden nugget, and my golden nugget today, and it might not be yours, but here, I'm just going to explain mine is, hey, when you get a commission, okay, take 25% and pay yourself. Okay. Then what you do is you take 30% out, put that in a savings account for taxes. And then 45%, I believe on my numbers here. Am I correct on that?
Yep.
45% you put back in your business account to keep building your business. Okay. Because it's not just, don't take the one commission and just go blow it. Do it that way. And then you're going to build an empire. Like he said, an empire. So that's amazing. I would love to, I'm going to drop that in the YouTube comments. I think we should create a graphic for that, and name it something, I don't know what we'll name it, but we'll figure it out. But I think that is a wonderful plan. And that's something you can write in stone, and then you can do every single time. I love it, Jonathan. That's a great thing. So thank you for sharing that, but I'll let you finish up here.
All right. And I will tell you, I operate as an LLC designated as an S Corp with the IRS, and I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to give all the tax benefits or anything like that on it. But basically, all of my income and expenses and all of that roll over from my business into my personal. And so that bonus that I actually pay myself, the 30% towards my taxes in the business side, actually gets credited and covers my personal tax liability at the end of the day. So I've got it to where I don't really ever pay taxes. My company will pay my taxes for me.
Jonathan, we talked about earlier, hiring assistants and $40,000, $50,000 a year. How much will it cost for me to hire you?
Let me see what my assistant's going to charge me and I'll let you know.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. I'll let you finish up, man. Thank you.
Jace, you had said in the comments, you heard a 50, 40, 10 rule.
Yeah. I think, you explained it pretty good, but something I've seen since I think getting into business and not being a W-2, but is, needs 50% housing, food, transportation, medical expenses, essential debt, 40% savings and investment. So maybe you split that up as far as into a, LLC business or whatever, but emergency funds, self-education, stocks, ETFs, rental properties, et cetera. And then 10% on wants, restaurant, entertainment, vacations, luxury items, electronics.
Yeah. And that's a good, a good philosophy as well. I think there's a different mindset that people can look at and consider being between, a broker and a sales agent. As a broker, I've got a lot more flexibility because I can operate as an LLC here in Texas. Other states have different rules. When I was in Nebraska, I was operating as an LLC, and I wasn't a broker until, a few years after I got my license. But from day one, I was an LLC. And so we kind of have some different avenues, but you can talk with your CPA. I know that there's ways of operating as an LLC here in Texas, but we run everything that we can through the business, right? If we take a client out to dinner, it's an expense. If we go on a conference or a trip to a convention or to meet other real estate agents or to go congratulate a client on a referral that bought a house in DC, right? It's an expense because it's business related and we run everything that we can through the company. As an LLC identifying as an S Corp, I can even set up, medical insurance for myself and for my brother and pay all of our medical stuff through the company as well. So there's different ways of doing it. So you definitely, on top of building your business plan, you definitely want to go talk with the CPA, talk with an attorney and get all that stuff set up because this is your business. This is your empire and you need to set it up appropriately.
Awesome. Thanks so much. What else we got here, Jonathan?
This is my closing slide. So that was like building your business, full throttle, right? Shove all that stuff down your throat and see what you can hold on to. But the QR code down at the bottom has all my info. I'm sure Matt's going to post, with my info as well on the show notes, but I'm happy to have any, conversations with anybody, answer any questions that anybody's got in regards to building their business and setting all that stuff up to succeed. And if you're a new agent, let's have a conversation because there's a lot that you don't know.
And Jonathan's so right. Listen, if you've watched this video today, you've gotten some value out of it. You can reach out to Jonathan. Jonathan would be more than happy to have a conversation with you. The people that come on here and the people that have put this together to give value out, we don't care what brokerage you're with. We want to help you grow. So reach out to us. We appreciate you again for joining us. We're dropping every single week. We're dropping a video on Wednesdays of just some type of free value for you to take out in the marketplace, take action on, and improve your business. So make sure that you subscribe. We appreciate you all joining together today on the No Agent Left Behind Real Value Mastermind. And thanks again, Jonathan, for all the value you dropped today. And y'all have a wonderful and be safe out there. If you're in Texas, we got a nice storm that's coming tomorrow. So be safe. Okay. Thank you so much.
2.0.
Yeah. Everybody. All right. Appreciate you.